Hey guys, how you going? My name's Lucy if you've not met me before, and today I'm making a video for you all about how to progress or learn how to handstand. So I've been handstanding for around 2.5 years, and I really started to practice it when I started getting into calisthenics, and really it was just something that looked kind of cool and looked fun, and I was right because it was pretty much addictive as soon as I started. So for me, I'm completely self-taught. I'm not a gymnast in any way whatsoever. I am not super flexible. I wasn't strong at all when I started doing handstands. So I know what it's like to be a beginner, and I still have a lot to master as well. But for me, what I found was, along with researching the correct form and progressions, a lot of practice really is key. So as much can be said for learning the correct way of doing it, a lot can also be said for just chucking yourself up, falling and failing, and just trying it again and again and again, and eventually your body will start to respond. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the correct form and also some progressions that you can use, but I want you to bear in mind that along with having the correct form and having the knowledge about how to perform a handstand correctly, there's also a lot to be said for just going out there and practicing and getting your body used to being upside down and getting your brain used to being upside down as well, because it really is something that we're not normally designed to do. So we're going to quickly go through a warm-up. I'll take you through the correct form, then we'll list out all the progressions that you can do, and you can pick something that's suitable for you, and then we're going to move on to just a few different cues on correct form again, and then lastly we'll just talk about some things to try and avoid. So I just want to quickly make a note about not comparing yourself to anybody else or even me in this video. What you're not seeing behind this video is years and years and years of consistent training and throwing myself up, falling over, all the fails that I've had, the fails that I continue to have. It's really easy to look at this video and expect the timeline from the first progression to the last progression to be a matter of weeks. Be realistic with your time frames and don't berate yourself or feel bad if you're feeling like you're not progressing. If you stay consistent and keep training, I promise you it will happen, and it will be such a good feeling. Like with any bodyweight training skills, when you get that first handstand hold, it's an amazing feeling, but you've got to stay consistent and persevere with it. And please, please, please do not compare yourself to anyone else. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we are going to head over into the warm-up. So with every workout that you're going to be doing, bodyweight training, handstands, whatever it might be, it's always really, really important to make sure you're warming up correctly. So for handstands, this is pretty much a basic warm-up that I would do. So you're going to be on your hands and knees. You're going to have your wrists stacked beneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And really, we're just working on warming up the wrists and building up a little bit of strength in the wrists as well. So you're going to place your hands on the floor, lean back over that joint. Taking your hands in a different direction now, and you're going to lean over your hands and really put as much pressure as is comfortable on your wrist, and try and get a really good stretch in the forearms and all the way through to the hands. Stretching out the fingers, and really there's no right or wrong, it's just about moving around that joint in any way that you can and trying to get as much range of motion as well, just so you feel like you've had a good warm up and a good stretch in your arms and in your wrists. Just to give you a little bit of a front view as well to see what I'm doing, just taking my hands on the side there and pushing out over that wrist joint, and now I'm making little circles, again just pushing the range of motion in the wrists. This is quite a nice one if you want to lay one hand with the top of the hand on the floor, place some pressure on the hand with your other one, and then lean over. Just try and keep that hand flat on the floor. It just gives you a nice good stretch all the way up through to the shoulder. Okay, so now we've done the wrists, we're going to move on to the shoulders. So for this one, we're going to do some shoulder dislocates. Now you don't have to use what I'm using, I'm just using a bit of PVC piping. You can use a broomstick if you were at home. If you have a resistance band, you can use one of those. And all you're going to do is hold it a distance that you can take it all the way over your head and through to your back without having to take your hands off the bar or the bands that you're holding. And I'll show you a side view as well, just so you can see the range of motion. And the final stretch I'm going to show you is going to be a little bit of chest and back. So you're going to place your elbows on a surface. This could be a kitchen counter, the back of a chair, or a step. And you're just going to drop your chest down nice and low, really sink into that stretch. If you want to extend your arms out, you can. And just really get as low as possible so you can feel that right across your chest. And you should be able to feel it in your upper back as well. So something that's really good when you're trying to learn how to do handstands is to master the hollow body hold. And I'm going to show you an exercise that you can do which will help increase your core strength and work on that hollow body shape. So we're going to lie on the floor and try to eliminate any space between your lower back and the ground. So to do this, you're going to tilt your pelvis upwards, pull that belly button down towards the floor and really engage your core. From there, you're going to float your legs up, squeezing your glutes and your quads, pointing your toes. And then you're going to extend your hands up behind your head while trying to maintain having your lower back in contact with the ground. Now you're going to just try and hold this pose for between 30 and 40 seconds. So the last thing I want to take you through just before we go into the progressions is what a full handstand should look like. So when you're up in a handstand, you want to be gripping the floor with your hands. You want your wrists, shoulders, hips and ankles all to be in alignment and really trying to push the floor away, extend up, point your toes and also try and maintain that hollow body shape. And a good way of learning how to do this without having to be in a handstand is to do a face down hollow body. So you're going to come down onto your stomach, hands go flat on the wall and just really focus on keeping everything in your body tight, pointing your toes, really squeezing your glutes and trying to maintain that hollow body shape. If you aim to hold this for between 30 seconds to 1 minute and try and do it as often as possible, it will go a long way into helping you build up the strength and proprioception for your handstands. Okay, so progression number 1 is an elevated knee hold. So you're going to find a chair, a stool, a table or even a box like this if you're in the gym and place your knees on it and then walk your hands in, bringing your chest as close as possible to that box. Make sure you're keeping your toes pointed upwards, you don't want them flat, and you really want to think about squeezing your shoulders, pushing the ground away, gripping the floor with your hands and trying to get your ears in between your arms and just hold this for between 30 seconds to 1 minute. If this is easy enough for you, you can take this into a little bit of a more difficult hold. It's a pike hold. So we're going to be using a similar surface, this time up on your toes. You're going to walk your hands in and try to aim for that 90-degree angle. Everything else is going to be the same, so you're going to be gripping the floor with your hands, locking those elbows out, ears are between your arms, and you're just going to be really thinking about pushing the floor away. This move really is just getting us used to being upside down and putting our body weight through our hands. Okay, so if you're feeling confident with that, then we can move on to kicking up against the wall into a handstand. So with this one, you're going to walk towards the wall and kick off one of your legs, whichever one is stronger. When you put your hands on the floor, you want them to be around shoulder width apart. And so when you kick up, you're placing your hands down, one leg is going to lead, you're going to point that toe, and as soon as your other leg leaves the floor, then that one's going to point as well, and you're going to try and reach the wall. This is not as easy as it looks, so if it takes you quite a few attempts, just keep practicing, it will get easier. Once you're up there, try and aim to hold it for between 30 seconds to 1 minute at a go. Alright, next progression. So starting to get a little bit more tricky now, we're going to move it to a chest to wall handstand. This is going to start to build up the strength in your arms, being upside down, and also the correct body position. So you're going to walk against the wall, and if this is enough for you, then you can just stay here and hold that. And as you get stronger and more confident, you're going to start walking closer and closer to the wall. Again, here you can see that I've walked in, but I'm still a good 2 feet away from the wall. Finally, we're going to walk so that you can get your chest to touch the wall, and you're going to tuck your head in, ears are between your arms and everything else is still the same. So pushing the ground away, elbows are locked out, pointing those toes and trying to get that hollow body shape while keeping your glutes, your quads, everything squeezed nice and tight. Okay, so once you can hold those for between 30 seconds to a minute at a time, you're going to move on to trying some freestanding handstands. So to start with, we're going to go into a split handstand. This is just going to mean that you can try and find your balance a little bit easier because you can move your legs around. So to set this up, you're going to be kicking off your stronger leg again. As soon as that back leg leaves the floor, you're going to point that toe. As you can see, my two legs are trying to be as straight as possible. Hands are shoulder width apart. Once you get there, you're just going to keep moving around until you can find that balance point. Again, trying to keep your core nice and tight, shoulders and elbows locked out, and really gripping the floor with your hands. And you're just going to stay there for as long as possible. Keep practicing this until it starts to get easier and easier, because it will. Okay, so everything we've been working on has been building up to this final move, which is a freestanding handstand. Everything will be exactly the same. So when you come down, hands are going to be shoulder width apart. You're going to kick up with your strong leg, and the other leg is going to be nice and straight, and you're going to point your toe straight towards the ceiling, and then you're going to bring your other leg up to match as well. Once you're there, gripping the floor with your hands, making sure those elbows are locked out, shoulders are nice and straight, everything's in alignment, and trying to maintain that hollow body hold. Super, super important. Keep those glutes and core engaged. And once you're there, it's just going to be a process of trying and trying and trying and just practicing all the time, and eventually it will get a little bit easier. So I'm just going to run through a few final cues for the form. So in this handstand, you can see that to begin with, I'm sort of sunk down into my shoulders. And what I want to try and do is, as I'm doing here, push the floor away and pull my shoulders away from my ears, really engaging my shoulders. This is going to help with strength and also stabilizing you when you're in a freestanding handstand. Alright, here I'm just showing you how your hands should be. So really your hands are acting as your feet or your toes would. So instead of having your fingers close together, you want to spread your weight through your hands as much as possible. So really extending your fingers out nice and wide, and really using your fingertips almost as your toes would if you were to fall forward. So that's going to be your main balance. The last one is locking out your elbows. So again, I'm sort of sunk down into my arms here, and I'm not giving myself the best opportunity for balance. So what I want to think about is wrapping my forearms in towards each other and locking those elbows out as well. So you're really putting a lot of tension through those arms. Just a really quick note on how I bail out of a handstand. So I don't always fall back onto my feet. I often will fall out to the side. And this is individual to everyone, so you'll find a way that works for you and whatever you're comfortable with. And the final little clip just shows the difference between having an engaged core and not. So here is a full handstand with an engaged core, really looking at that hollow body. I'm going to start relaxing my core now. My back starts to arch, my feet come backwards, and really I'm just relying on luck and a bit of gravity to keep me up there. And now I'm back in correct form and in control. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video and you found a progression that's going to work well for you. I can't wait to see you guys try this and hopefully work your way up towards achieving your first full handstand. If you do, be sure to tag me in it either over my Instagram or you can message me on here. I absolutely love so much seeing you guys progress and try new things and enjoying it as well. So definitely do that. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you soon.